All right, boys and girls. So yesterday we talked about multiplying decimals by whole numbers. Today we're going to talk about multiplying decimals by decimals. So we are on page eight of the Unit 1 packet. And today our big question is this: how do we know where to put the decimal point when multiplying by decimals? We talked about that briefly yesterday, and we're going to look into that more. But first, we're going to talk about a cheeseburger on Jupiter. Certainly a new idea that we may never have thought about before. But first, let's look at this chart. So we have different planets: Earth, Venus, Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, and so on and so forth. So we have the weight of a 1 pound object on each of those planets. So on Earth, a 1 pound object weighs 1 pound. But if you take that same object to Mars, it only weighs 3/10 of a pound. It weighs a lot lighter, almost 3 times lighter. If you take that same 1 pound item to Jupiter, it's more than double its weight. It'd be 2.3 pounds. So let's say I weighed 100 pounds. On Earth, I weighed 100 pounds. If I went to Mars, I'd only weigh 30. If I went to Jupiter, I weighed 230. So you can tell if you go to a different planet, you might weigh a different amount. So let's take a look at this question. It says, if a cheeseburger weighs 5/10 pounds on Earth, what will it weigh on Jupiter? So to find that out, what we're going to do is we're going to multiply 5/10 times the weight of the object on Jupiter, which would be 2 and 3/10. And I'm going to put 2 and 3/10 on top just because it has more non-zero digits. They both have 2 digits, but 2 and 3/10 doesn't have any zeros in it. So I'm going to put the one with more zeros on the bottom. And I'm going to multiply. I'm going to get a new pencil because I'm breaking the graphite of this pencil quite a bit. All right, let's see if this one works. We're just going to multiply as normal. 5 times 3 is 15. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 1 is 11. Now, we could multiply by the 0. But 0 times 3 is 0, 0 times 2 is 0, so you're just going to get 0. So if this was like the number 3, we'd of course keep multiplying. But since that's a 0, it's not going to change the value. I can stop here. Now this is how you figure out where the decimal point goes. In 2 and 3/10, there is 1 decimal place. In 5/10, there is 1 decimal place. That means there are 2 total decimal places. So we're going to move the decimal point 1, 2 times, and we get 1 and 15/100 pounds. So if you take a half-pound cheeseburger to Jupiter, it would weigh more than a pound, which makes sense. It would weigh more than double, and that would be more than double. So that's how you figure out where to put the decimal point. You count the number of decimal places, and then you put the same number in your answer. Well, what about a 5-pound barbell? On Earth, it would weigh 5 pounds. What would it weigh on Jupiter? Well, we would multiply 5 by 2 and 3/10. I'm going to put 2 and 3/10 on top just because it's longer. It has more non-zero digits. I'll put 5 on the bottom. So if I multiply, 5 times 3 is 15. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 1 is 11. There is only 1 decimal place. I'm just going to pause it. I'm going to take a phone call. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. All right, so we had 1 decimal place in this number. We're just going to move the decimal point once because we only have 1 decimal place, and we get 11 and 5/10 pounds, which again, it's more than double. And notice these answers are somewhat similar. The only difference is the decimal point is in different places. We multiplied by 5/10 and then by 5, and the only difference was the decimal place. It says use the results from the first 2 problems to determine the product of 5/100 and 2 and 3/10. So let me set that up, and we'll see if we can actually take a shortcut here. So I put the number. I'm sorry, I put the decimal point in the wrong place. I put the number with the fewer non-zero digits on the bottom. Now I know that 23 times 5 is 115 because we did that twice already. 23 times 5, 23 times 5. We just had to move the decimal point. Now I just have to move the decimal point once and then 2 more times. So 3 times. 1, 2, 3. So that's how you get that answer. So to figure out where the decimal point goes, you count how many decimal places there are in the numbers you're multiplying, and then you move that many times. All right, let's try some. Let's try some here. Okay. First one we're going to try is 3 6/10 times 5 hundredths. I'm going to put 3 6/10 on top because it has more non-zero digits. And I'm going to put 5 hundredths on the bottom. Notice I'm not lining up the decimal points. You only have to line them up when you add or subtract, not when you multiply. So I'm just going to multiply as normal. 5 times 6 is 30. Put the 0 down, carry the 3. 5 times 3 is 15, plus 3 is 18. Now, you can see here the next number is 0. And if I multiply by 0, I'm just going to get 0. And then the next number after that is 0. So if I multiply by that 0, I'm also still going to get 0. So I can really stop here because I've multiplied by the 5 already. Now I have to figure out how many decimal places I need to go. There's 1 decimal place in the first factor and 2 in the second. So I'm going to go a total of 3 decimal places. 1 plus 2 is 3. So I'm going to go over 1, 2, 3. So my answer is 180 thousandths. Or if you want to simplify that, you can get rid of that last 0 and just have it be 18 hundredths. Both have the same value. All right, this one's interesting. So we have 112 thousandths times 7 2/10. I'm going to put the 1 and 112 thousandths first because it has more non-zero digits, and 7 2/10 next. All right, so I'm going to multiply as normal. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 0 is 0. I'll put the 0 for now. Now, we do have to multiply by the 7. So I'm going to cross out the 2. I already used it. I have nothing to erase up here. I'm going to put a placeholder 0, of course. And then I'm going to multiply as normal. 7 times 2 is 14. 4 down, carry the 1. 7 times 1 is 7, plus 1 is 8. And 7 times 1 is 7. We could do 7 times 0 is 0, and then we'll add them up. 4 plus 0 is 4. 2 plus 4 is 6. 2 plus 8 is 10. 1 plus 0 plus 7 is 8. And 0 is 0. Now, let's see how many decimal places we have to move over. This first number had 3 decimal places. The second number only had 1. 3 plus 1 is 4, so that means we have to move over 1, 2, 3, 4 decimal places to get 8,064 10,000ths. Perfect. All right, let's try a couple more together and then have you try some on your own. 5 7/10 times 2 8/10. I'm going to actually do an estimate first. So that's close to 6, and that's close to 3. 6 times 3 is 18. So my answer should be around 18, maybe a little bit less. So I'm going to line these up. I'm going to do 5 7/10 times 2 8/10. So I know the answer is going to have 2 decimal places because this first number has 1, the second number has 1, and so that's going to be 2 decimal places. All right, then we multiply as normal. 8 times 7 is 56. 6 down, carry the 5. 8 times 5 is 40, plus 5 is 45. So far, so great. Now, we've multiplied by the 8. Cross it out. We can erase the 5 here. We don't need it anymore. And then we do need that placeholder 0 because we're going to the next row of multiplication. 2 times 7 is 14. 2 times 5 is 10, plus 1 is 11. And then we're going to add them up. 6 plus 0 is 6. 5 plus 4 is 9. 4 plus 1 is 5. 1 is just 1. Then we have to remember, move our decimal point 2 places to the right. 1, 2. Our answer is pretty close to 18. It's closer to 16, but of course we rounded these numbers up. So that answer makes sense to me. Okay, this next one here, again, we're going to put the 4 and 12 hundredths on top. If you want to try this one on your own, go for it. Just pause the video, try it on your own, and then unpause, see if you got it. All right, so I know I'm going to have 4 decimal places at the end because I have 2 decimal places and 2 decimal places. That means 4 decimal places at the end. 5 times 2 is 10. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 1 is 6. 5 times 4 is 20. Now, if you multiply by the 0, you're just going to get a row of zeros. And if you multiply by that 0, you're just going to get a row of zeros. So we can stop there. And we'd have to move the decimal point over 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we get 2,060 10,000s. Or if we could simplify that answer as just 206 thousandths. We can get rid of that 0 at the end because it's just holding a place. It doesn't add value to the number. All right, let's try another one. This one's a little different. Okay. We're going to do 3 and 46. Oh, by the way, I changed this number. So if you can cross out 14 thousandths and change it to 3 and 46 hundredths, we're going to multiply it by 3 and 7 tenths. Okay? Now, that number is close to 3. That number is close to 4. 3 times 4 is 12. I'm thinking the answer is going to be around 12. Pretty close to 12. So we're going to have 3 decimal places in the answer. We got 2 decimal places here, 1 here. We're going to have 3 in the answer. Then we just multiply as normal. You can try this one on your own. Just pause it. 7 times 6 is 42. 2 down, carry the 4. 7 times 4 is 28, plus 4 is 32. 7 times 3 is 21, plus 3 is 24. Now I'm going to erase the extra the digits I carried. I'm going to cross off the 7. Placeholder 0. Multiply as normal. 3 times 6 is 18. 3 times 4 is 12, plus 1 is 13. 3 times 3 is 9, plus 1 is 10. All right. Now the light's just turned off, so I hope you can still see this. I can see it pretty clearly on my screen, so I'm hoping it works for you as well. Now I'm going to add these up. 2 plus 0 is 2. 2 plus 8 is 10. 4 plus 3 is 7, plus 1 is 8. 2 plus 0 is 2, and 1 is just 1. And then we have to move the decimal point over 3 times 1, 2, 3. And we got an answer that was around 12. So I expected that. Feeling good about that one. Okay? So on the back. Okay? What I want you to do is I want you to try the ones that I'm highlighting right here. I want you to try these 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, if you want to try this one on your own, because we haven't seen one like this yet, you can try it on your own and press play. But this is the last one we're going to do together. Okay? Notice I do not want you to do the ones on the bottom. You can, if you want to challenge, you can try them, but we're going to do these tomorrow in class together. So you can hold off on these, but I do want you to try at least these 4 on your own, and then this one you can try on your own if you want, but I'm going to do this one right now with you. So I'm going to put 205 thousandths on top because it has more, well, it has the same number of non-zero digits, but it's longer. It's a longer number, so I'm going to put it on top. 26 hundredths I'm going to put on the bottom. Okay? All right. So we're going to multiply now. 6 times 5, well, first off, I want to think about my decimal places. 3 here, 2 here, so we're going to have 5 in the answer. 6 times 5 is 30. 6 times 0 is 0, plus 3 is 3. And 6 times 2 is 12. 6 times 0 is 0. We got 1, 2, 3 there. That's nice. All right. Cross off the 6, erase the 3. Okay. Now we're going to multiply by the 2. Placeholder 0 first, of course. Placeholder 0 first. 2 times 5 is 10. 2 times 0 is 0, plus 1 is 1.
Good afternoon, Orchard Park Middle.
Okay. And, sorry to pause, there was an announcement. 2 times 0 is 0, plus 1 is 1. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 0 is 0. Then we add them up. And you've got to move the decimal point over 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There it is. So if you got 5,330 hundred thousands, you got it. So try these 4. These 2 you can leave for tomorrow, and I'll see you soon. Have a great day. If you have any questions, let me know. And the answers will be posted below this video so you can check your work. Have a great day.